Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, nobody. The ladies had a little topic they wanted to discuss. So I wanted to put it here, ask the question to everybody. Do you guys think that step parents should discipline their stepchildren? So you as a mom, you got a boyfriend or you marry a guy and now, he's raising the children with you. Will you guys allow the man to whoop the kids, like discipline the kids? How does that work? Anybody can go first.
Me, well, it depends. Me, I think is it
That music gonna
physical
be a strike.
discipline? Hell no.
I'm sorry. You need to take your ass outside or something.
I don't know. For
Jackie,
me, it depends on like the relationship between the stepdad and the kids. If I would
hmm
allow that to happen.
so you just have
I
to
mean,
like keep
before
a
y'all
close
even
eye.
get married, you should. Before y'all even got married, you should already see how his relationship is with your children anyway.
hmm
So if I see that they have a good relationship and he's not trying to be too over the top with the discipline, then yeah, I would. But normally for men, sometimes I don't even have to discipline the kids. Y'all could just look at them and talk to them, and they normally will do what y'all say. They normally give us mothers the hard time. So I
So if you,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I just feel like it just depends on the relationship they have.
So do you
See,
feel like as a stepmom, would you plan on disciplining the man's children if they were in the house with you?
Once again, that depends on the relationship. Me and the children have, and I'm not comfortable with disciplining nobody else's kids.
hmm
So if depending on the behavior, how bad it is, I would definitely address the dad about it instead, my husband about it, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to discipline somebody's kids and then they go tell the mom and then it becomes an issue
Right.
because then it becomes a burden between me and my husband because she's probably gonna not be happy about it. She's gonna address him about it. Then I just feel like it's gonna become a big mess. So I would rather like let him do that if the behavior is that bad. But for me, I'm normally pretty much I can get I love kids, so and kids attached to me. So I'm not gonna say I don't think I would have a problem with that, in that department when it comes to that, but I've never had to be put in a situation like that right now.
Right. Right.
So I really can't say, it's kind of hard to speak on that when you've never been through it
hmm
because I never would date anybody with kids. But
Right now,
so,
that's how you feel. Like you're not dating nobody
no,
with no kids,
but for
or that.
me, with me having children now, I want to date someone that has kids because at least a man that is involved in his kid's life
hmm
because he would know, especially if they're older than my kids, he already know what it is to go through the stages I'm going through now.
Right.
He may not have to deal with, his children being as hyper as mine are,
Right.
but
Because
if
they're
he,
older.
huh,
Because they're older.
yeah, so if
Yeah.
he can
That's.
help me find a balance, between the
You're
hyperness,
right.
and he can control it, better than I can, then yeah, I would. I don't think you have
Right.
to beat nobody kids to discipline them. Some kids you can talk literally have a conversation with because sometimes they just want that attention. They just want that love. And if they see they not getting it, then sometimes kids act out because they just looking for that attention.
Yeah.
And that's how my daughter is sometimes. Especially when they have siblings, they fight for that mom or dad's attention. But
Mhm.
see, with me, I show my kids the same love because I don't want them to ever feel like, well, mommy love you more than she loves me. And I feel like sometimes my daughter feels that way because my son is such a mama's boy. And I used to let him get away with things, but now that I don't, sometimes he struggles with that because he's so used to having his way because he's older. But for her, with her being a girl, I have to keep her close
Yeah.
because I don't want her to. I don't want. Well, with me, my mom and dad never sat down and had talks with me about life, and I do with them now at 4 and 5. So
Mm.
hopefully, the older they get, it sticks with them. Like what some things my mom told me sticks with me to this day. So if I plant the seed now, hopefully when it grows up to be beautiful. I don't, as hard as it is, you can't control how your kids is going to be when they get older. But I try to hopefully raise my kids in the right way to the point where I don't want my kids to ever have to be labeled or have a number. Because I feel
Right.
like once you get a number, that's all you're ever going to be known by. And that's going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Mhm. It's like you become a
Depending on
statistic.
what. Yes. And then for me, having a black son, he's already being judged
Right.
by society. He could be, you know, going on the right path, doing the right things, but he's still being judged.
Right.
Because it's hard, it's bad that like you can't even they can't even walk down the street sometimes without being harassed and they're not even doing nothing.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for me, the way this world is set up now, I pray every day that they don't get caught up in that life. Because for me, I think all it takes is for one person to ruin your life if
Yeah.
you let them.
Yeah.
And that's why. And then for my daughter, that's why I go so hard on her because I don't want her to have to go through the things that I had to go through with dealing with men because I was never taught. Don't let a man do this. Don't let a man treat you this way or talk to you that way. I wasn't.
Mhm.
I pretty much learned from the streets. But for me, I seen a lot of things that women did that I didn't want to do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to like sleep around with this man, that man, and that's what I was surrounded around.
Right.
But when you surround yourself around those type of people, you get judged to be that way too. But I chose to go the opposite way, and that's what I hope my kids do. They choose to do the opposite of what their friends is doing.
Right. Right. Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Let me get somebody else. Spice, you there?
Yeah, for me, it depends on the relationship. With
Oh, your mic is like a little. Is it
can
just
you hear
me,
me now?
Jackie? Can you hear her?
Yeah, I hear.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear
Depends
you.
on the relationship with me and my partner or husband, and also the relationship I have with the child's parent. Because I do discipline all the children that are like around me, like friends, kids, and stuff like that. But it's to a certain level. But I think you need to. It depends on the relationship, and there should be a mutual respect and level where they know their boundaries when it comes to it. You understand? I would feel comfortable, but obviously I'm a person. I love children, so I would never take it to the point where I'll be trying to disrespect someone's child, or where the child will feel some type of way to the point where it might become a problem. But I think it definitely depends on the relationship, like the structure of the relationships within between me and the parent. You understand? And I'm not gonna bring anyone about around me that's gonna be like that don't have love for my children, because we come as a package deal. So they've got to know and have that respect for me, and my children also got to have that respect for that person. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think it really depends on the relationships and the dynamics within the settings of all of us who's involved. You understand? Like my kids, that dad, he's got a partner. I don't like her, and because obviously he don't know himself and he don't really check for his children, I don't really like it. My kids go in there. You understand? I don't really like it. So you understand? But I think it's a thing where you have to have like an understanding of respect, and you understand, and certain relationships. I wouldn't just let any guy come off the top and start like trying to discipline my children. And obviously, there's levels. I don't think you need to put your hands on anyone's child, regardless. You understand? Any man that's gonna come, I don't expect you to be able to put your hands on my children because they have their father. But you get me? Obviously, if you want to talk to them or you don't agree with certain stuff, obviously it can be a thing where it's joint. Like we deal with it together. So obviously that minimalizes any issues. You understand what I'm saying to you? So I think it just depends on the dynamics. But obviously, step parents get a bad rep. You understand? But it depends. I think it really depends on you as the sole parent. You understand? Who you're bringing around your children. You understand? The relationship. You understand? Because if a man don't respect you or a woman don't respect you, they ain't going to respect your children. And it has to be someone that like loves children. You understand? I would hope to find a man. I could be with a man that had children and actually looked after children. I wouldn't be with no man that doesn't like actively look after their children. I know there's a lot of people that entertain that type of behavior because obviously they've got their kids, and that person had their kids, and so whatever, and obviously they might paint the other woman or the other man to be a certain way, but I don't agree with that. For me, it would be a thing where it would be a Drake thing. Like, you understand what I'm saying? And that person would have to have a relationship with my children and have a really good relationship with me, and have to understand children. You understand? For that to happen. City, you there? Where's City?
I don't know,
Did
but
he drop
yeah,
off?
like I think he's probably doing something. But I agree with you, Spice. Like I think there's levels. I mean, I don't think a step parent should be putting their hands on a child that's not theirs. That's a big no for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, shout at them or discipline them if they've done something naughty, send them to their room, whatever. All that's cool. But the minute you put your hands on a child that doesn't belong to you, you've crossed the line, bro.
Yeah,
And
that's a
I don't like.
problem.
And there's certain step parents out there that feel that because they're the step parent, they've got a right to do it. Like there's some parents out there that have been involved with kids' lives for 10, 11 years or whatever, because they've been involved for that amount of time, they tend to forget you're not actually their parent. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that's when they start getting like waving hands and getting a bit
And
happy slappy.
it's
And
also
do you know what I'm
you as
saying?
well. Like, you got to make them know that they should have that respect, because it's like people do what you allow them to do in it. So that's what I'm saying. You can't be letting that person feel like, oh, you're like, you can disrespect my children, or you can put your hand on my child, because I think they follow by your lead. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not a thing where you should be putting. Well, for me, I don't think you should be putting anyone before your children, especially if your children were there before. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think you have any right. I would not be granting anyone to put their hands on my children. Like, you could talk to them, even down to like shouting at them. There's levels as well. You understand what I'm saying? But it has to be a thing where that person's got to have respect, and the person's got to have like love children. Like, you understand? And overstand children, because if you don't overstand children, that's when you're gonna have a problem. Because people seem to think it's easy, and seem to think that they overstand children because they might have been around children. But being around children and having your own children is a two different thing altogether. You understand? So I think there needs to be some type of respect, bro. You can't be overstepping your boundaries just because you think you're there in the child. You understand what I'm saying? And you can't be trying to address the child when you have a problem rather than addressing me. Like, you understand? Where it might be a thing where we can like um co-parent and like do it together. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So obviously there's levels. Like, people need to know, understand there's levels and don't pass your mark. You understand? But the woman
Yeah,
that my dad, yeah, I don't like her. So get me, and I feel like he kind of puts her before his kids. So I already have my kids go around her too much, and she's got an issue with me. So I don't really want like nobody. I don't
no,
want.
yeah, I hear
Yeah,
that.
I don't
It's
want my
like
children to be with no one that
I'm
has
the same
some
thing,
type of
bro.
issue. And then you have this stupid man that don't know himself that will be entertaining that. I don't. Yeah, you understand? I don't. I'm not feeling
Well,
that.
like you said, like, obviously my situation now, obviously like people know about my situation already. Like my daughter was getting beats from my baby father's wife, obviously, but she weren't doing it openly in front of my child's father. Do you know what I'm saying? She'll be crafty with it. She'll fucking do it when he's not about because he knows. Like, well, she knows, should I say? She knows that fucking my baby father wouldn't stand for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because my baby father
Yeah,
would
but
never lay
I
hands on
wouldn't
his
be. Listen,
child.
if I knew that, I wouldn't be with someone that would stay with someone that was doing that. I don't care if I was married because you're just disrespectful, and that means you're spiteful. You understand what I'm saying? That means you got spitefulness in you because you know exactly what you're doing. You have the intention to like be spiting my child
This is what I
when it's
said
not
to the
even right.
baby dad. This is what I said to her. She knew what she was doing was wrong because if she didn't realize what she was doing wasn't wrong, she would do it in front of you. The simple fact that she's doing it behind your back that shows to you that she knows what she's doing. She shouldn't be fucking doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you just got to
agree.
be so careful with your kids, bro. So careful because there's people, like I said, this woman was crafty with mine. Do you know what I'm saying? She was crafty. She
Yeah,
knew she wasn't meant to do what she was doing to my child, and she knew like if the baby
yeah,
father found out, it would have been peak for her. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. But yet, he still was in a relationship with her for how long, knowing that. For me, I think that's crazy.
But this is what he's saying to me, though, Spice. He's turned around and said that he didn't know. It's only recently now, because obviously I've had a little one-on-one with my daughter, that he's found out that this is what she was doing.
But that's what I'm saying, man. But that's the problem. Why are you making yourself so busy to the point that your child obviously feels like they can't, you get me, can't
Talk to you. Mm,
can't to you confide in you? That's dangerous because
mm,
that's how
mm.
children get molested, get abused, and stuff like that. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't care if I get married today. You came after the fact of my children, so my children come first. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care about no Quran, no fucking Bible, Christian, Judaism, African spirituality, Marcus Garvey. My children were here before you. You understand what I'm saying? And my children are the ones that are more precious. I'm more vulnerable than you are. You're a grown ass adult. So at the end of the day, you're not coming before my children. I don't care. Like, yeah, and you're not going to play with my children. This is why we need to be careful of who we're picking up. You understand? And who we're having around our children. You understand? Like, I won't be
Exactly.
letting any man come around my children just for the fact you can't even be in my house. I don't want you in my house. I did one time, and I told him, "Don't make me regret it." And obviously, he stayed here, but he was cool. He was cool with them and everything. But it's just even that fact of letting people come in your environment and come around your children. It's like it's crazy. But I wouldn't be with nobody. I couldn't care if I was married with you, and just because we got our own children, I don't care. Because some people seem to think that because you have your own separate children, the children, but you understand. And she just showed that she's spiteful to the point that she would be doing that and like hitting your child, like what, just because of some paper in a ring. Fuck that bullshit, bruv. She's lucky it weren't me because I would have beat her all over the place, bruv.
But Spice, don't get it twisted. Like I want to do a something. Don't get it twisted. I'll do, but like right now, it's not the. You know what I'm saying?
So what
It's
was
not the
his? So
time
what
nor
was
the
his
place right
reaction
now.
when it come? So what was his reaction when it came out?
Obviously, he was shocked. you know what I'm saying? He was like, what? And when I sat there and I broke it down to him, look, your own daughter turned around, not like a slap or anything like that. She turned around and said that this woman was physically beating. She used the word beating. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, and obviously he was like, what? He was talking about going down the police sort of route and things like that. And obviously, but I said that's all well and good going down to the police route and all this and that. But then you got to think about our daughter. Can she actually cope with that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
emotionally and mentally, and do you know what I'm saying? Like, so of it, like he's not happy in it. Put it that way. He's not happy about it. Or like any parent wouldn't be happy if they found out that this is what's been going on behind their back. Do you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's a bit of a catch-22 because obviously where she's got the other two kids, like it's like if he tries to mention it or tries to deal with it in his own little way, what's going to happen to the two kids that are already with her? Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
this is the thing. So obviously I've said to him like you need to obviously.
How long have they been married? Because that's what I'm gonna ask the question. How long do you think the two? Because
They
I'm like,
were
even
they were
though,
together. They were together for 11 years, but they've only got married. I think was it 2005 they got married.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. After 11 and somewhat years, it comes like he actually didn't really know this chick that he
Mm,
went to pick up. You understand? That's what it seems
mm,
like to
mm,
me.
mm.
You
This is
understand?
what I'm saying because
I
obviously
think people
because
should
the
just
baby
take their
father he was
time.
always at work. He was always at work. He had two jobs. So I'm saying he was working like lorry driving during the day, and then at night time he was working the doors at the clubs. So he was hardly ever at home. So she was like the main caregiver.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I think
So
we
obviously
really
she
should
managed
like
to
take
get
time.
away with certain things. You know?
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. Like you just take this is you're in a relationship. You think you can trust this person,
Yep.
and they're just violating, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. Was
I
she
mean, like
beating
I
her
said,
own? Was she beating her own children?
I think I think was it the son might have got a few snacks here and there or whatever. But I think that's her way of disciplining. Do you know what I'm saying? It's her way or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? But like I said, you're putting your hands on a child that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you had a real bad issue with my daughter that badly, why didn't you go speak to her dad? Do you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Go speak with her dad. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Send her to a room. Tell her that she's not coming out of there until her dad comes home from work. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other things around it. But from the time you lose your temper and put your hands on another person's child, bro, that's dangerous. You're
Yep,
lucky
that's
that I
very.
found out when I found out, like now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I found
Mm-hmm.
out at the time, bro, do you think my daughter would have been there? Are you mad?
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have gone straight up there, bro, and fucking dragged her out with police there. I don't care, bro. Arrest me, bro. Do you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I would have dragged her out. I would have beat her ass. Do you know what I'm saying? I would have
Yeah.
rescued my daughter. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you now, right? If like I told my baby father, don't ever take me up there, because if I get an opportunity, if I bump into her or whatever, it is literally I'm fucking you up on sight,
On
innit?
site.
The minute
Yep.
I see you, it's on sight, bro. Something's gonna happen
This
to
is what I'm
you.
saying. This is why it makes me. This is why it makes me not want to bring anyone around my children. I'm not gonna lie, bruv, because you see that for me, that's wild for me, bro. 'Cause I don't play when it comes to my children. I'm not trying to hear nothing when it comes to my children. Especially when you're saying that you're getting angry. So what? You're taking out your frustrations on my child because number one, he's not
This is what I'm
about,
saying. But the thing is,
and
it's
number
like it gets
two,
deeper. It gets deeper, like Spice. She was literally using my daughter as like Cinderella.
bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like she had chores that she had to do. She had to write in a book. She had to do these certain chores by a certain time. She had to be at home at a certain time, looking after her kids because she wanted to go to work or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So you was using my 14-year-old daughter as like a Cinderella, bro. My daughter's
Yeah.
not no fucking Cinderella out here. You get me? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wow.
Like, you're not taking responsibility. You lay down and have these fucking kids, yeah. You take responsibility. Why are you getting my 14-year-old daughter to take care of your children?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because you want to go to work. Then you should have thought of that before you lay down and opened your fucking legs.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
My daughter's missed out on her childhood. She's missed out going out, fucking going cinemas and going out to birthday parties and things like that, purely because this woman don't want to fucking look after our own youths or take care of their home. She wants my daughter to do it because she wants to go out there and get her career, which is all well and good, fair enough. But don't rely on my daughter to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, don't turn my
Yeah.
daughter into some sort of fucking slave so you can elevate yourself. Are you mad? Because I'm telling you now, if that was her, biologically her child, do you think she'd be doing that to her child?
But that's what I'm saying about these people about money, 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 and work, work, work. Yeah, I'd say you have to work, but these things shouldn't be more than your children. I don't give a fuck, bruv. You understand? To the point your child can't come and talk to you and you're working and you're just leaving your child with this person. I I understand like you trust that person, but nah man, that's not it. That's not it, man.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That like I said, I don't agree with any sort of parent putting their hands on a child that don't belong to them. Because obviously, I had a stepdad, and he tried to discipline me in a way, and do you know what I'm saying? And he got a bit handsy and things like that. And I told him there and then, because I was a teenager when he started trying to put his hands on me. So
Mhm.
obviously, I was quite